What's up, y'all? 808s while we wait. Yes, sir. Welcome to Town Hall Meeting with the Mayor. I am your host, Eugene Man Roberts. And today, we're going to talk about something pretty cool because it's near and dear to my heart. We're going to have a couple conversations with some really dope backline techs. And this subject is really dear to me because I started in this industry as a drum tech and backline tech and stage manager. And you know, it's a pretty important job, and those who have a tech, like, you know, like that's very something special that you have and someone special. So we're gonna jump right into it with a person that grew up in my city, Philadelphia. We grew up together technically, and we used to jam out, and we ended up going on tour together, and it's pretty amazing. So give it up for my homeboy Okwa.
Our good brother Okwa. What's going on, man? What's going on?
You know, I won't complain.
You shouldn't. Hold on. Before we start, let's see if we can figure this out. How long have we known each other?
Jeez.
I date back, we was like 16. I date back to 16 that I like distinctively remember. But it could have been before that.
Nah, bro. It was like, 15, 14-ish. 14-ish.
Man.
14.
Okay, well, we won't count the years.
Yeah.
But that was a long time
14
ago.
years young. There we go.
All right. So people, that was over 20 years.
It's the minimum.
Anyway, my bro, it's amazing that we're here and we're like just both doing what we love to do. So first of all, man, people, I don't think you guys understand. I don't think they really understand. We used to like shed on drums back in the day, like Philly Bulls, like that's just what we did. And then fast forward, and you didn't work with everybody in the game. I done worked with a couple little people, and I think it's pretty cool. So let's talk about the transition of deciding to take the tech approach as far as working, because like, you know, me, I started as a tech as well, but I knew where my mind was when I jumped in, but like getting people like more of that approach of where your mind was.
When I first, let's just be clear. I was a drummer first. I was playing drums first. When I was asked to tech, I didn't know that was a job at all. You know, my mentor, one of my biggest mentors, or a couple of my biggest mentors always told me to experiment when I was playing drums. Experiment, you know, different sounds, you know, different snare drums. What does that sound like? Why do you use this snare here? Why do you use these toms? Why are they deep?
Right.
Why are they this? And they were like, experiment. So I would experiment. Rack systems, I would just experiment because I'm like, why do people use this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, lo and behold, I'm at NYU and I get a phone call like, hey, we have an opportunity for you. And here we are. And I got my first techie, I guess, with John Legend, because you had got promoted or whatever. And it was like, okay, cool, to the drums. Make sure it's right every time. No problem, because this is what it's supposed to be. Okay?
Right. I mean, we grew up as like gearheads anyway, though. So
yeah, we're geeking out. So, but I mean, I think as far as the approach to answer the question, I think that for being a tech, for the job standpoint, I think it's just understanding the musician that you're working with.
Right.
And for me, because I was a musician, I was always able to meet them where they're at. Whether they're more skilled than me or not, didn't matter. It's the same service.
Right.
The same service, you know? So, yeah.
So what was your biggest challenge or biggest thing like to adapt to?
When I first started teching?
Well, all right, it'll be a two-part. When you first started, and then like fast forward to maybe just a few years ago.
Okay, so for me, the adjustment when I first came into the game as a tech was dealing with personalities. It wasn't a skill thing more than it was dealing with personalities.
Facts. Because around that time, it was interesting.
Yes, I mean, and not only that, we were all young. We were young.
Yeah,
we were young. Like the band was young, you know. But am I allowed to be raw?
Go ahead.
Cool. But yeah, no one really. I mean, it's a business. This is a business. It's not, it's all fun to, when you're at church and you're playing conferences and things of that nature, or in small bar gigs, you play, you do what you do, get your money, keep it going. But here, it's a business, and it's all about personality. It's how you fit in. Also, that's judged reality. They don't want to talk about it, but that's what it is. So for me, that was the biggest adjustment. So much that after John, I left and went back to playing drums professionally for a good while. And then I made a transition again to say, okay, you know what? I really do want to do the technical part because I think this is more interesting to me than actually playing. But yeah, it's all about the personality in any, no matter how you slice it, whether it's being a musician or whether it's being a production manager, whether it doesn't really matter. Right. It's about personalities. It's about blending. It's about being able to come together with other people from different walks of life and find a place and bring it together so it's a happy marriage.
Right. So fast forward, what was the thing you had to adapt to? Once you left, you came back, and then now once you come back, you're working on these way bigger gigs, way bigger tours. You're talking stadiums, arenas, like, this mecca of touring. So what was that next level up mentality of adaptation?
I think this is going to sound really generic, but I think that it's the same principles. The only difference is it's just a lot more corporate. It's a lot more corporate.
More political.
Thank you for political. It's more political than anything. And again, it's about being thorough at what you do and understanding. I think it's preparation meeting the opportunity. It's knowing what you need to know about the business that you're in.
Right.
And then being on point. So when the opportunity comes, knowing how to navigate it in a way that's respectful and professional.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know if that answers the question though, but
no. That makes sense. Because like you said, in the beginning, we were young, so like there were rules, but it wasn't rules. It was just like, yo, pack the truck, let's just get out.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
There's no rhyme or reason. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So then you fast forward to years later, it's just like, oh, I gotta label my cases. Oh, okay, we have to pack the truck a certain way. Okay, I have help, or okay, I need to do this, or like, oh, I get to contact the company so we can order stuff for my band members. Oh, okay. Yep. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like after show food, or like the crew calls, like your hotel, it's just a lot of different things. So it's cool because this is the first time I'm like getting to do like the tech talk thing, which is pretty cool. And like, I know being a tech, a big part of it is like you have to make things work no matter what, right? So what was your biggest like MacGyver moment? Like you couldn't believe it worked. We made it through the show and we was good.
Okay. The most recent one I can think of right now.
I know it's more than one. But
there's so many. It is so ugly.
Give me two, because you got a good memory. That's one thing about you.
Whatever.
Great memory.
I'm an elephant. Whatever. Also, Brian. If people don't know, I'm drum tech for Brian Fraser Moore on the last Justin Timberlake tour, Man of the Woods tour. Incredible moment for me. Incredible point in my life. So. Me and Brian we have a partnership. I'm his tech, but it's like a partnership. When we went through the motions of building the black spaceship coupe, we talked about it. We made suggestions. What do you like? You like your stuff low? Cool. I think this. You like this color? You like this wood? You like this particular thing? I think this. What do you think? Whatever. Right. Fast forward. One of the major things that was a point of contention on a lot of his other tours is that having backup gear. So as a drummer, you think, okay, well, I want a backup snare, right? Cool. Right. So I have this DW Edge, Maple 6x13. That's my main snare. I'm on a hip hop gig. I want a backup. So I'm gonna have a 6 amp by 14 brass.
Right.
Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying?
You want to have the actual double.
You want to have a double. So we got backups, and I didn't really think it was necessary, but I was like, you know what? It makes sense. Let's just do it, because I've never had an issue with any of that kind of thing, especially because, when it comes to like snare wires specifically, I use wire, like these wire snare wires. So they never come loose. I mean, it's not going to, nothing ever happens, whatever. We did over 100 plus dates over the course of an 18-month period.
Mm-hmm.
And the snare never, ever had an issue, ever, until the second before the last show. That never had an issue ever. It's a second before last show. For whatever reason, the lug cracked, or the throw off, the butt side of it cracked, and he's just like, "Yo, I don't have snares." Well, I noticed it before he did, because he was playing triggers, and I'm like, "Yo, is that your snare? Is your snare on?" And at that point, I just ran to the top of the deck because he's above me, and swapped out snares. And if it weren't for that particular situation, having that snare ready to go, tuned exactly like it would be for that scenario with a trigger on it, I would have been in flames. Let's just say that much.
Yeah. So people, I know somebody that messed up. They ain't
in
had
the middle of a song. By the way,
I know somebody that messed up on a tech job, but they had the bass drum. They had the extra bass drum pedal on the loading dock and not next to the drum kit. Really? Can't say no names, but that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life as a tech.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, no shade. Whatever. That's interesting.
Just don't do it. It was one of the homies that we vouched for to get on the gig, and he ain't do right. He ain't do right. So let's talk tech. How long? Well, not how long. What's something that exists now that you either always wanted it to, or B, you just it just blew you away that it could do that?
TD50.
I'm gonna give you that, and we ain't just saying it because of where we at right now. What was your like? It got me.
So, oh man, there's so many things. So you mean the reasons why that got me, right?
Yeah.
The TD50 it won in my respects because of the individuals that I was working for. It's all about the client. Brian Fraser Moore at the time was using a Z8. For guys that don't know, that's a Akai Z8.
Yeah.
It's a sampler. It's pretty much the MPC. I believe, I want to say 3,000 or 8,000. Don't quote me on that. Whatever. But it's just a module. And he was using that as the sampler, or as a controller for that band, or the sampler, sorry. And then he had a controller, and the controller was a drum cat. Mm-hmm. And the reason they used the drum cat is because it had 9 trigger inputs. Okay. Up until that point, there was no one doing that. You have the Roland SPSX pad. The only issue was the bit rate was different. It split, and it had two outs that split into 4, but these were literally 9 individual. So this particular machine, not only did it cater to that particular aspect, and it had the bit rate, but you could load your own sounds in there, and you could do all the editing on the spot in the machine if you needed to. Right. I mean, that's just a number of that's a beginning start to why it made sense. It was reliable. When you made your changes, it was saved automatically. You turn the machine off, go back on, it's exactly where it needs to be.
What's crazy is back in the day when Rashid first started with John, and we like started getting into like triggering and stuff like that, we figured out a backdoor way to do exactly what the TD50 did.
Oh, tell me.
In 2000, and this was 2009-ish, we took a TD20.
I love that module, by the way.
TD20, you know how many triggers that has.
Yep.
We took that and we MIDI'd it to a laptop with main stage and had battery kits. MIDI. So whatever trigger you plugged into that TD20, you hit it, the cell light up, drag the sound, boom. That's what we was doing that in 2009.
Yo, that's funny. That's funny. Little fun fact. So I love battery, and it's like the best kept secret. So there was a point where I played for Chris at Michelle, and I was told before I got the gig, or before I took on the responsibility, as I was asked for it, they were like, "You need to learn these 36 songs in the next pretty much day, 24 hours, and then not only do you need to learn the songs, but all the transitions with those 36 songs, and you can know all the trigger sounds and place all of them where they need to be." So I had to do all that at the same time, learning songs I didn't really know.
Right.
Battery saved my life. This is before SPDSX. It was just SPDS.
That's what I'm saying.
I made that to the Power Book for all our Mac guys out here. I hooked up to the Power Book, and it went from there. And it was a wrap. You know that Myo cable, before the Myo cable came out, it was something.
The USB to you talking about the USB to MIDI?
Yeah, to MIDI. Yes.
Yeah. So we had interfaces.
Oh, okay. Got you.
MIDI to the interface, so we had separate outs for the drums too. So we had an E-kick, E-snare, we had the toms, and we just had like 4 electronic outs on the drums. Like, we weren't really thinking far enough ahead to have backups like A and Bs. Like, you know what I'm saying? We just do it work. Like, you know,
I wasn't in the budget neither, but that's another discussion.
Right. So the crazy thing is, we had that laptop and the playback laptop on my riser, and they were like together. Like, you know what I'm saying? All the interfaces was in one rack. So the kick and snare of the electronic drums came out of the drum loop channels of playback too. So it was like all coming from the same area. Like, it was just like, and it was solid, and it worked. Like, it never didn't work except for like one time, and that was because somebody kicked the MIDI. You know how you got a MIDI coupler and you extend 2 MIDI cables? Somebody kicked where the coupler was at. But outside of that, we was pretty solid. Like, we ain't had to worry about whenever it was a new song, we just dragged the waves into the battery. Like, it was so thick. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when people was like, yeah, I'm not discrediting what you're saying about the TD50, but the factor that now you could do that in that TD50 or the TM6 Pro too, like, you could do it in there too. But like, before that was it. We had to that was when me and Irv was like doing all this stuff. Like, and Irv was out with us. Like, it was pretty crazy. But yeah, we had a TD20. I never forget. We had a TD20. We MIDI'd that joint the battery. And that gave us what we needed, honestly. And it ain't no CPU or nothing, because we was in main stage. Like.
Yeah, but I think that one of the biggest, and that's totally genius. I think one of the biggest hurdles that the TD50 got us over was the restart. If something crashes for whatever reason, you have to restart the computer. That takes a moment. That TD50, you can literally count to 2. 3, maybe, if that, and you're up and running. Even if it's asking you the normal stuff I ask you when it first starts, about adjusting hi-hats, it's still ready to go no matter what, and it just goes.
I think that's been like a new rolling thing overall. Like, the startup time, and pretty much all the newer products is like that new Jupiter's, like, the new Phantom is way faster than a lot of other keyboards we know. But
I'm not saying any names because I tech keyboards. So yeah,
man, I'm here for it. That Chronos take a year to start.
Oh Lord, I can't listen, bro.
Anyway, I just saying it is what it is.
I won't confirm nor deny.
Bro, we both on the pose. That is so funny. Hey, yo, remember that time we was on tour and we was having a water fight and I pour ice water in your bunk for some strange reason?
I can't confirm nor deny.
I feel like I remember that. I pour ice water under your cover and pour ice water, and you were really highly upset with me because you had a long day at work that day. Hey, this back in the day when the band and crew rode the same bus. Like, that was a thing. Like,
back in the day when you forgot what it meant to be a tech. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Wrong conversation. Wrong day.
No. Go. No. Forgot.
I mean, wetting someone's bunk that had a long day with ice and water.
Listen. You got a good memory. I got a good memory too. But I remember the reason is because we was having a water fight, and I thought it was over. I walked out of the venue, and you threw a bucket of water on me. And that was midday, and I was tight about it, and I got you back later that day. I was the prankster, though. Was you? I don't know if you was out with us. Nah, you wasn't out with us. When Biscuit, because Biscuit used to snore a lot. So I recorded him in his bunk and played it in the PA during sound check one day.
No.
He was so mad. Hey, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm telling a story. Yo, he was so tight. He was so tight. So anyway, fast forward.
He's an artist. You got to be careful what you say now.
Yeah, I know. We got a song together. We did a song for an artist that's about to come out too. That's about to be crazy. What was I about to say? Yo, so tell everybody about your photography, bro. Because I'm just everywhere. You everywhere. I forgot about it. Like you just everywhere. So go there because you having the dope shots and you still do your job. Talk about multitasking because some people be want to have their phones out and cameras out and they be dropping the ball on the real reason they there, which is to be attacked or something. And
I think first of all, before you pull your phone out, you got to make sure that management knows. Matter of fact, not even knows. Make sure you ask them, is this okay? A musician's a different discussion, but like.
Well, ask the musicians too, because I know a lot. Sometimes there be texts that like, they just be like, yo, bro, I took some photos of you. Bro, I didn't even care. Like, bro, I'm trying to learn this show, bro. Like, I'm not trying to care about no pictures or no videos, bro. Like, that's not, like, my keyboard's not even the right height. Why are you giving me pictures? Can you fix that first?
Easy. Shout out to this young woman named Michaela. She is the manager she's a sister and manager for Charlie Puth. She gave me my big break on show photography. She saw some of my work while I was on tour with Charlie Puth, and she gave me a chance to take pictures of the show. She was like, "Can you handle it? Can you handle?" Because at that time it was only me. But the way the show was running, I had spurts where I could take pictures or whatever, and on stage. And she looked out, and she allowed me to do that, and it opened up a door, and it was a whirlwind after that. But as far as photography, I do photography and videography. I've done some stuff with Brian Fraser Moore, promo stuff with him. I've done some stuff with National Geographic also. And I do all types of photography, modeling, and mainly modeling photography, subject photography specifically, and product photography, because I've done stuff with Roland too.
But, I remember you took some of those dope Phantom shots on the Mary J tour, right?
Yeah, we had those. We had got a chance to demo them out before they actually hit the store. It was amazing.
Yeah,
and you did too. Yeah, but yeah, it was a blessing to be able to have that and the new Jupiter. Not Jupiter.
Oh yeah, man, I like that new Jupiter is a beast. Like I've grown to love it. And you know me, I'm a gearhead, I'm a keyboard head, so it's like I'm able to have multiple ways of pulling up, not in some way the same sounds, and in some ways similar enough but different enough. You know, especially like you know me, the XP80, the JV series, like that's my thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So to be able to pull up the 5080 and the new Jupiter, to be able to bring up all the JV XP80 sounds and the new Phantom, and I got everything in the cloud, it's like I'm winning. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I can't get away from using the real keyboard stuff. So like it's something about the outputs. It's the output cards. It's the cards. Like right now, like just even in my little temporary setup, I got an XP80 over here, a Juno 60. I got my X7. I got a 106. I got my V-Synth, and then I got a Phantom 7.
GT or just the regular one?
GT.
When you're done with that, I'll never be done.
I got that V-Synth. I got that V-Synth when I was playing with Kanye because of the vocoder in it. Nice.
Can you? I don't know if you have any pictures anymore, but could you explain a little bit? I'm gonna flip the questions on you for a second. Can you explain to them your setup for Kanye, because you were using guitar pedals and all? Can you talk about that a little bit?
All right, so that was phase one.
Okay.
That was phase one. So the Glow in the Dark tour, when we did it, we started in Europe, and the stage was all plexi, see-through, right? So I had a 4x8 riser that was see-through. So I had a rack built with my V-synth rack, and I had it facing up so I could see it through my feet, right? And I controlled it with an X7, and then I had an X6 for talkbox. And the pedals was because I was just being really experimental with my sounds, and it was kind of hard, like, to have the front of house person do exactly every effect and what I was trying to do. So my actual talkbox mic was going through the pedal board. So I was doing my own delays, reverbs, octaves, distortions, just like with certain stuff. So like when I wasn't doing actual words, I would be doing lines or like holding out notes and stuff, and then having effects and just kind of playing it like another type of instrument.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's why I had pedals. It was pretty cool.
I feel like the Kanye, that particular, when you did that particular gig, I feel it pulled a different side of you out. It pulled a lot out of you.
You know, it did, because that was the first time I was like, I was fresh off of like Teddy Riley land. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was playing keys and I was teching with Teddy, and I started playing talkbox and vocoder, and then we started playing, like, I started using it with T-Wise a little bit. Mm-hmm. So then Adam had hit me like, yo, Kanye want a band, and he wants somebody to play talkbox and vocoder, like on some Teddy. He said, like, on some Teddy Riley. So so he hit me like, I know you work with Teddy. Like, you gotta be the next best thing. So they hired me, and I thought I was only coming to play 3 songs. Like, I just knew I was doing Good Life, Stronger, and Workout Plan. I just knew those was the only 3 songs I needed to learn. I learned them 3 songs. It's like, oh, you sound great. I want you to do all the hooks on every song. I'm like, oh my God. So that's when I started playing like on all the other songs, like, you know. And it was cool because it was the first time, well, not the first time, I had kind of started mentally grasping being able to adapt to each gig with my roles I was playing. So John, I'm playing mains, I'm programming. Then Guy in Blackstreet, I'm playing all aux, never like no mains. Then I go to Kanye, I'm only playing talkbox and vocoder. Then I go to J. Cole, I'm playing mainly synth bass and a little bit of aux stuff. You know what I'm saying? Then I go to Snoop, and then I'm playing mains. Like, you know what I'm saying? Then I go to Wiz, I'm playing mains. Then I come back to John, and I'm doing everything. You know what I'm saying? So it was just, you know, then I go to a Ro James, then it's a little bit of, well, I'm playing vocoder just on that song, then I'm playing bass on it. And it just kind of started making me start perform differently. Like, you know, like, especially if it's a gig that's like track heavy and you know it's programming, it's like, oh, I'm going to put the bass in the track and have fun playing vocoder. Or I'm going to put, you know, everything in the track and I'm going to play the bass live because the bass needs to be free enough to move with the drummer. Or, you know, it was just like making me like approach shows differently. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some people, they play one lane. Like, this is all they have, you know? And you know us growing up, like, especially in Philly, like, it's so many drummers, so many musicians. It's like, what's going to separate us? What's going to make us different? Like, people probably wouldn't believe me, but like, I was using stacks in 2001, 2. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Definitely was.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody used to be like, yo, you got all them broke drums. I'm like, oh, man, that joint sound like a clap to me. And, like, I used to have the small little stack, and I had, like, a 16-inch stack with a 14-inch A-Custom crash on top. I know – I still have those stacks. So, like, that's how I know exactly. I still record with some of them to this day. So, it's like all the stacks, and, like, we've been doing that. We've been using top boxes and vocorders, and we was using programming with T-Wise in 2005, 6 when we was doing all them cafes. And I had my 1680, my VS 1680. We was running playback out of there. And then when the iPod came out, we was using an iPod first, panning the click to the left and panning all the music to the right. We started that way. Then when I got an 1880, well, a 1680, that's when we started using multiple outs for the track, and we was doing that when we was teenagers, man. So like, to be doing it now is just like, it's just second nature for us. You know what I'm saying? So I think we kind of prepared ourselves, like, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't know what text was then. We didn't know about no text.
We just
We just knew we
make it
loved
work.
gear. We used to take our gear apart to make it work because we was breaking it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we kind of got trained into being techs, you know? So for those who out there that like are trying to be techs or wondering how we became techs, it's kind of like you gotta, like you said, like it's trial and error. You gotta figure it out. Like, you gotta figure out what makes you different, what can make the person you working for sound better, play better, look better. You know, because like even me as a musician, like I love a tech that's smarter than me. Like, to be totally honest, like shout out to Thunder, y'all. I probably got the best tech there is. Like, you know what I'm saying? He been in the game for almost probably 40 years. Like, you know what I'm saying? But he's always like, hey, you know we could do this. I'm like, for real? When that come out? Like, because he be on it. Like, while we rehearsing, we doing all that. If your tech not researching a plan B and C for your rig, or not trying to figure out like I said, what's gonna make it better and easier on you? Like, yo, man, I figured out a certain way to put the drum throne so it makes your back better. Like anything like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are the things you have to do. What's your pieces of advice?
I think it's just, again, mine is centered around, one, doing your research, two, making sure that you understand who are the players of the game. You can't be in a game and not know who's hiring. That's like me saying I'm a pharmacist, you know, but I don't know I'm going to Wawa to get a job. No, like you got to, you know what I mean? So it's the same thing, knowing the players. And I think that it's also understanding the personalities, you know, understanding who you are, knowing who you are, and knowing what you bring to the table so you can fit into that puzzle in a way that's it's conducive for everybody, period. Those three things will take you will take you far, for sure. Because there's a lot of individuals that get in the game that don't know who they are, don't know how to navigate personalities. That's huge. Mm-hmm. And don't want to do research. I don't know how many people that call me. Don't get it twisted. I love to help, and I love to be an asset to anybody that calls me.
Let me say it for you.
You know I'm about to go with that.
Let me say it for you. I love you, but can you check YouTube or like do the 101 things first before you call me? Because if you call me about MIDI and you just didn't plug the in to the out and you did it backwards, no. If you didn't restart your computer first and go through that process, don't call me yet. But go ahead. What was you about to say?
I'll add. There's nothing wrong. I mean, I do classes on this all the time. I've been doing it all through quarantine. Like, you know, where I just sit down and I break down how I make my templates, like in like my playback, because I do playback also. So like, what's your template for Ableton when you do playback? I have like 6 to 8 of them. Like, you know, like I have the same thing for my TD50. I have templates for everything. So it's just like, my thing is this, going back to the tech thing. If you're going to come into the game and you want help, there's nothing wrong with asking for help, but you should be able to tell me what you've done so far. Mm-hmm. I can't get this trigger to work right. I went through this, A, B, C, and D, and these are the things I thought I should be going through. Am I missing something? Question mark. A lot of individuals don't want to do the research. A lot of individuals do not want to read a manual. And I'm telling you, you're not less of a tech for reading a manual. The TD50, when I first got it, I had to read the manual so I could understand how it works, considering it's a new product altogether. Mm-hmm. The Drumcat, I had to do the same thing. Did I have some kind of help along the way with the Drumcat? Not really. I mean, I did with initially with Brian and stuff like that, but other than that, I had to learn on my own. I had to read the manual. I had to figure it out. I had to call Chris Oxett. I had to reach out to the people that would be able to help me. But before I did it, I had to have some kind of foundation.
Mm-hmm. You exhausted all your options.
Yes. Yes. And I'm going to say this one thing just to wrap this up. Mm-hmm. I don't like to, you know, I don't usually get into my personal business like this, but I'll keep it 100 to see, you know, like what my, not struggle, but my journey was. When I got called, because I was working a little bit, but when I got called to sub in for JR, his name is James Newkirk, but they call him JR in the industry. He's doing Bieber currently right now, but he was the original drum tech for Justin Timberlake before I came on. Mm-hmm. And I think he was out with Bieber, funny enough, on the tour previous. And I got called to sub in initially. And when I came in, I think one of the biggest things that I learned coming after an individual like that is how much you have to do research. So what did I do on my first gig? I took my first check for my first gig. It was like I think it was in London. It was like 4 days. I took my first check, and what did I do? I bought a Z8 and I bought a cat. I spent my whole check buying the gear that I know I was going to use for the person I knew I was going to be subbing, or the artist I was going to be working for, in that case, BFM, for the next couple months, because it was an investment. Why? Because I wanted to be better at it. When I got my TD50, I bought it fresh, my own money, from tour money, from gig money. Yes, I was broke for a little bit, but I learned every aspect of it. And because of that, I am where I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not no rocket science. I mean, I'm a scientist or whatever, but I think that if you put in the work and you prepare, that preparation,
like you said, invest.
Once you meet that opportunity, it's done. You're in there. And it's about personality after that. Personality and being lovable and being able to flow and be able to adjust and check your attitude and be self-critical. And that's a whole nother therapy session, but we'll talk about that later.
Well, we're going to get ready to get out of here because I think we should do a tech panel. We're going to do a tech panel. I think we're going to do. I want to do that. Let me see if I talk.
There's some good ones out here. Ooh-wee. Ben,
hey, yeah, when we get off this, you got to give me some more. I got to do a couple more of these. Like JR, we got JR coming on.
Chris Oxett, like.
Get them all. Joe Wolf, OG.
Joe Wolf too, yeah.
Yeah. Who else? What's my man name that worked with Stevie? I can't. Lamar Mitchell.
Oh wow, I haven't. Yes, yeah.
OGs, we're gonna bring them all on out here. But all right, Okwa, my bro, thank you so much for your time, man. Thanks for chopping it up.
Definitely, man.
You one of those individuals we could keep going on and on about stories and shedding at 3 a.m.
Get my head chopped off and serve it back.
With custom snares, you know what I'm saying? We was having custom
snares. You
snares.
still have that 12-inch?
Yeah, I still got the antifreeze green, Joe. Yeah. With the black hardware.
Yeah,
I still got that.
No. The one with the lime green hardware.
No, the snare was lime green and the hardware was black. I know exactly what you're talking about. Then I had the fire one with the gold hardware.
Nah, that's okay. The one with the lime green one. You get the hydraulic head on it. Before, people were using hydraulic heads on snares.
Man, I might have been doing some things before people, but I'm not going to.
Another therapy session again.
Another therapy session. All right, y'all, we out of here. Say peace to the people, man.
All right, holla.
Hopefully you guys learned something about the importance of being a tech and just how you just approach it mentally, because it's not your normal everyday job or road job. It's really particular. And next person up, we kind of mentioned his greatness in our conversation, myself and Okwa. Man, this guy's a trailblazer. He's come up with some of the most craziest setups, especially on the drum side of things, for Brian Fraser Moore, Devin Sticks Taylor, and many more. So give it up for my homeboy, big homie, Mr. JR Worldwide, JR Newkirk. Hey,
my big bro, everybody's big you know what I'm saying? JR Worldwide. What's up with you, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm good. I've been enjoying getting to check in on my folks doing this and you know, see what everybody got going on. Like we all travel, we work for this person, work for that person, but we always got our own thing going. And like that's right. Like, my focus is like what do we got going on personally? So like you, man, we met a long time ago, but I know one of our coolest times was when we was out with Wiz together.
Okay.
Which was pretty cool. What was your take on that? Because like,
it was fun, man. That was good times. That was good times right there, brother. Definitely good times.
Yeah. We had a ball, people. We had a ball. But man, so if you don't know, you're perceived as one of the dopest techs and engineers, like just possible. So what was your thought process coming into it, wanting to not only just do it, but like make it your business, make it like your source of like just revenue and just, you know, your mental space of what got you there?
Yeah, man, this is it's what I really, really wanted to do. You know, I really wanted to do it. It was some other things that interested me, but this is what I wanted to do. is where my heart was at. So I was just willing to do whatever it took to do it, you know, and I just did whatever I needed to do so for somebody to notice it. Like I really work hard, like, you know. So I just, you know, that was it. It was just in me, you know. I just really wanted to see, you know, in that field, you know.
Yeah. So what was like some of your most memorable moments? Like when you first dove into it, what was the first thing you had to get acclimated to? Like what did you have to like just really, you know what I mean? Like get used to, because you know us growing up in church, growing up in different areas and like, you know, around the way, it's like we operate a certain way, but crossing into the professional side of it, what were like some of the things you had to get accustomed to?
Oh, you just got being accountable, you know. You got to be accountable because you're away from home. So ain't nobody going to wake you up.
Yeah.
You know, ain't nobody going to tell you to do your job. You know, so you just really got to be accountable, you know. So that right there in itself was just, you know, that takes it from the road to back home, anything, you know, anything, just a life period, you know, just being accountable, you know, just being responsible.
So I know, some people know, but I know, and we're going to tell the world, this is one of the dudes that came up with some of the dopest setups you've ever seen. Because, like, you like the MacGyver to make it happen, where it's like, yo, I really wish I could have an 8-inch tom right here. And you be like, oh, all right, no, don't worry about it. I'll cut this and I'll boop, 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 boop. Like, make that happen. So what's your theory on it? I mean, I know the theory is, like, to make the artist or the musician you're working for comfortable, but what's your thought process when it's like when you're coming up with some of the designs of the setups?
Man, it was just being young, you know, watching all like the magazines and stuff that used to come out back in the days. Used to have these crazy setups and stuff, and it's like, you know, now that I'm in it, it's like, man, I can actually do this stuff now.
Yeah,
and you know, so I can figure it out, trial and error, or just whatever my mind takes me. It's like I want to figure it out. I want it to do this, or I want it to look like this. You know.
What was your like craziest scenario of like MacGyver make this happen? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
oh man, it's I don't, you know, it's been a few of them. You know, you get put on the spot a lot. You know, and it just gotta happen.
Right,
the
right back line ain't there. Or
yeah. So you know, I don't know. I've been doing a lot of powder coating and stuff like that. So just figuring that out, taking stuff just way apart from scratch, and you know, I think doing that kind of stuff, man, it really like takes you there, you know.
Yeah, because it's like the drums are supposed to be black and the hardware was supposed to be black.
Yeah,
it's like,
you know,
well, somebody messed up the order. I'm sorry, we got chrome hardware. Like,
yeah, you know, so just customizing stuff on the spot, you know, changing the color snare drums on the spot, you know, just stuff like that, man. Actually cutting hardware, you know, to make something custom fit, you know. Yeah, for sure, building racks and stuff.
Yeah, there is a right and wrong way to do that. I
know,
just see something that's like, I don't know if that's quite straight or crooked, but
you know, hey, but we all creative, so you know,
right.
You know, so yeah, it's definitely fun, man. It's enjoyable to be creative and to do things or work with an artist and they tell you their vision. You know, different musicians tell you their vision. You know, what makes them comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, what they see in their vision, and you can actually bring it to life with them. You know, it's a good feeling.
So, like me, when I kind of, you know, I started in the industry, I was a drum tech first and a stage manager, and I kind of was teching the stage, like even with John, like that's how I started. So, my thought process, and you can back me up on this possibly, but my thought process was always to be ahead of the wave with the musicians. Like literally, like if I know something new is out, let me learn that just in case they want to switch over to that.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, so talk about that, being ahead of the curve and how you like to, cause like you're a studier, so you know the ins and outs of every product, every machine, every drum, heads, mics. Like, so talk about that knowledge and having that self-knowledge and wanting to go study it.
Well, yeah, you know, you have to, because it's definitely something new coming out, and you don't want to get caught out there if you can. You know, you definitely don't want to get caught out there. You want to be able to, you know, that musician you work for, show them the next thing.
Yeah.
You want to be able to do that, or if a problem comes, you want to be able to fix it, or at least come close to when when you read that book, that manual. It kind of makes more sense now,
Yeah.
So it's definitely a good thing to stay above, above the, the curve. You got to, it definitely helps. It definitely helps because it's definitely something new is coming for sure. So you want to be caught up, but ahead of the game for sure.
Right. And do you have like this is a funny question actually? Do you have like a not a diary, but like do you have like a space that you just literally save all of your information for tech jobs, like from the beginning, like even if you ever had to go back and work with a person from years ago, like
I actually do.
files, like memory cards?
I actually do, man. I actually do. I keep up with everything. Just sets, even from set lists that I wrote notes on those set lists for that artist. I mean, I save it all because you never know. And then if you go back to that artist 2 or 3 years down the line, you kind of, you have something to refer back to.
Yeah, because 9 out of 10, it's kind of like a musician. If they calling you back, that's because they remember how you worked and what you had to do, and they don't want it to be like, oh, come on, man, back in the day, you better than this, Paul. What's up? What happened?
Yeah, exactly. So that's another thing of stand up, above and in front of the curve. You got to just keeping that stuff, study it. Sometimes you just go back and look at it. That way, because some stuff you might get to the new stuff. But then some artists might like to use the older stuff, and you ain't worked on it in a while, and it's like so you want to keep the new stuff is cool, but the old stuff you got to stay.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's like that thought process of like you're not replacing, you're adding to
exactly
your memory and your database of
exactly
so
for sure.
Let's fast forward to now to the factor that the people need to know that. Even before the pandemic hit, that you got a dope spot down in Raleigh. And, like, let's talk about that, the JR Worldwide, the headquarters. Let's talk about what's going on down there.
Man, I got the headquarters, Raleigh, North Carolina, where I was born and raised. Moved back home, and I started a dream spot, for myself and the community and musicians and techs in the area and, whoever can get to us, It's just a good, it's just a fun house, man. We work hard. We learn, we teach, so we do a little of everything. We have backline. We have a backline company.
You show the people he in one of them rooms now, one of those dope rooms. That's the studio, one of the studios.
Yeah, this is one of the studios here. Somewhere you can come have a little fun, do a little tracking. And we have another room out here. Take you out too. And we actually have a good friend in town recording right now.
Some mics. I see a lot of drum mics. Who using a lot of drum mics? Who that?
Who's using a lot of drum mics?
Who's using a lot of drum mics? Brown. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Devin Taylor. He'll be on a good episode with us. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk drums and Biebers and
what's up?
You know what I'm saying? But we telling them about Unc Spot down there, how he got it going.
Okay.
They got to pull up. They got to come through.
Oh, yeah, man. Y'all got to come check Unc Spot out, man. Rileywood Studios, man. Out here in Raleigh, North Carolina. You dig what I'm saying? It's crazy. I'm shooting a lot of videos here. I do a lot of recording here. You feel me, man? Like,
and you should too, people.
Yeah, of course. It's a dope spot, though, to come record, do your videos, whatever you need. You feel what I'm saying? Like, the spot is crazy. Like,
yeah. Hey, I was just telling the people how JR is one of the dopest techs literally in the world, and he makes dreams come true as far as like being the brains behind like Yo Crazy setups, Brian. Yeah. Like even if y'all just like, I want to 8-inch time right here, and it's like he figures out how to get it there and it don't ever fall in his tune. It's like, so talk about how it is working with him.
Oh, man, it's amazing working with Unc, man. Like, he can be hard on you at times because he want everything right, you feel me? He not playing no games, you feel me? And he about his business, too. Yeah. So, but besides that, man, he is great working with Unc, man. It's crazy.
You ain't got to worry about nothing, right?
Oh, you don't got to worry about nothing. You feel what I'm saying? Whatever you want to do, he's going to make it happen even if he don't want to make it happen, he'd be like, it's impossible for us to do that. Like, you feel what I'm saying?
But some type of
you'll come
way.
back, hold on, but look, he'll say that, you'll come back in like an hour or two, and it's done.
Yeah. You be like,
you feel what I'm saying?
okay now.
Oh, man. What? But, oh, man, it's great working with him. And he's the easiest, man. Like, he's the easiest guy to get along with, too. And outside of that, like, we got a relationship outside of just me and him working together. So it make it easy for us to work together. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we can go kick it, go get some food, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. Like, and it's not always just us talking about drums. So, yeah,
Like,
man, he's a great guy.
He a solid, he what we call a solid OG.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah. All right, people, we ain't going to talk too much to this one. We're going to talk.
All right, here you go. He right here.
Well, yeah. But people, this is Raleigh's finest. You see what I'm saying? It's a great location. You got the big dogs recording and shooting video and content. So look forward to some of that stuff. We're gonna show y'all some of that and drop all the socials and where to reach out to JR and get it going. But bro, I know y'all got to get that shoot set up, so I'm gonna let you go.
We about to do it, my brother.
Thank you for jumping on.
Man, I appreciate you.
We're gonna
get the opportunity, bro.
We're gonna do I want to do a tech talk type thing with me, you. We're gonna get Joe Wolf. We're gonna get Okwa. We're gonna get.
Yes, sir.
I'm
the best. Those the best.
Hope y'all can get Thunder on a call. We see how that works.
Come on, get the OG on.
But yeah, man. Thank you for your time.
Sir,
like I said, I know you gotta get ready to go, man. And
yes, sir.
Much love, man. You always gonna be family, and I can't wait to get down there. We're gonna do something cool.
Man, much respect, man.
Yes, sir.
Love you, bro. Yes, sir.
Shout out to JR and the pop-up by Mr. Devin Sticks Taylor. I have an episode coming out with him pretty soon, where we talk drums, we talk Bieber, we talk all of the gigs he's done, and just he's just a young up-and-coming innovator. Like, he's already been in it for a while, but when the history of things though, like, he's out here changing the game. So give it up for my little bro Devin Sticks Taylor. So that'll be coming up. Well, let's get ready to get into these rolling at home videos, because people have been at home, of course, being creative and hashtagging that hashtag rolling at home. So let's see what y'all got this week. Hey.
Le cream. Le cream. Le cream. Le cream. Le cream.
Takes me to my
those amazing people on the Rolling at Home videos. You watching this could be on here if you just post your content, use the hashtag Rolling at Home, and then I'll feature you on here. Then, you know, who knows, get a little one-on-one talk and tell the people what you're working on. Hey, can we do that? Yeah. All right, so before I get out of here, of course, I want to thank Rolling Live Studios. I want to thank Rolling, Nelly, Joel, Kristen, Brian, Igor, Carrie Brown, Josie. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to all my people that make this happen every week. So, I think that's it. Guess we're out of here. Eugene Man Roberts, aka the Mayor. Town Hall meeting with the Mayor at 808s while you wait, and we are out of here.